Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Train Freak here, and today I'm just doing a test. I just kind of want to see how things look because I'm in a different area. I've got my computer that I normally sit at is way over there. So it looks like we got a few people in here. I see Hillbilly Railroad, which that's Scott. So welcome, Scott. We got Tim with CP368 Productions, Motorman 2015. Let me know if I sound good because I did move my mic. It's actually right here instead of way over there like on the last stream. Hey, Ron Moen's here. Welcome, Ron. So I'm just trying to, test, different things just to kind of see how things are working. I'm wanting to get prepared for Sidetrack Sunday this week, and I figured we could work on the modules for the demo layout. And I can kind of show you what I've got done. All right, so Motorman and Scott are saying, sounds great, and I've got a clear picture. And Tim is saying I sound the same as always, so I guess that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and move on over to more like a full facial picture of me. And so what I've done is I've set up an iPad that is allowing me controls to my A10 Mini, which is what I use to switch between cameras. And so I want to use some of that as well. And then because I know if I'm on this camera here, you're not going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. But if everything works out the way it's supposed to work, and of course I got a delay on my phone, now you can actually see the modules that I plan on working. And so, like I said, this is just pretty much going to be a test. I'm just trying to go through all the motions, just to kind of see if there's anything I need to tweak for Sunday's live stream. But hey, you're more than welcome to be active in the chat. I mean, I'm here, can shoot the shit with you if you want. Doesn't matter to me. One of the main things that I do want to test, and I don't expect any of y'all to send a super chat or a super sticker, but I do want to see if this works. It is something I've been trying to work on. And I'm thinking that is going to be good. All right, there we go. So it looks like I got a few things to tweak. So did y'all hear the horn from the super? In case if someone wants to send me a super chat or a super sticker, let me know in the chat. Looks like chat's not being active. I don't know if the chat has frozen up. All right, Tim is saying yes. Awesome. All right, I am going to try my intermission slide. Okay. I got to get used to this delay or I might have to try to find a way to hook a monitor up over here so that way I can see what I'm doing because I have no screen. I mean, here, I'll do this for you. I'm going to try not to make you totally seasick, but grabbing the camera and turning it around, you can see there I mounted the mic. And hey, there's Riceland. How about that? And I've got the layout lights turned off. So, all right, let me hang that back up. Now I probably just screwed with all my settings doing that. Yeah, I'm a little low or a little high. Blame it on Heath. We'll just blame that on Heath. There we go. Now I'm really high. Or, yeah, it's too high. And I'm going to have to play with that here in a little bit. All right. Looks like we got a few people pop in. So Norman said the white tabletop might be screwing with the white balance on the camera. So definitely I will look into that. Hey, Shay and Marty and Steve 87th PSAP. For y'all that are just coming in, I'm just kind of doing a test to basically, see how this mobile setup is going to work as far as, because my computer's way over there. So, and to kind of show you, I could probably do it this way. Let me make a change here and see if it does it. Nope, it didn't work. There it goes. All right, so I can zoom out. And let's see. Cool thing about this camera, so you can see the computer is way over there. So, all right, so Norman is saying that the white table is going to give an issue. So I'm going to have to figure something out on making the table not so white. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet on that one. So Robert is saying, I was wondering what part of the layout is this on the table? It's actually not part of the Delta Pines. It's going to be a separate layout. I don't know if you caught my last live stream. I just kind of did one spur of the moment. And it was just basically taking these two modules, painting them. I've done a little bit more work since, and it was mainly work that I really did not want to do on camera. But I will go ahead and Steve 87th is saying overall you are just too bright. Okay, so let me try this. Hold on a second. Let's see. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be any better. It looks really dark to me. What I did was I turned my room lights off and I turned the layout lights on. So, I don't know. It looks kind of dark. Let me know if that's better. If it is, then, hey, I can work with it. I'm afraid that when I go to this here, it's just going to be too dark. I don't know. Just let me know. Hey, Brian Benson from Southern Oregon, old Southern Pacific country. Welcome, Brian. All right, so yeah, Steve is saying, yeah, it's too dark now. So, all right, Steve, well, it's one of those things you can't have your cake and eat it too. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go turn the room lights back on, and I'm going to turn the layout lights off, because if both are on, yeah, that's going to be extremely bright. So give me just a second. All right, is the light right above the table? Yes, it is. It is right above the table. So, Jason, have you ever seen the SD40 that SP painted in daylight paint? I want to say that is the locomotive that I have, Tim, but it's not a SD40R. It's just a SD40. But yes, I do have one. They actually had two different locomotives that were painted in daylight. One was the SD40, which I do have. The other one, I cannot remember the exact model. Maybe it was a SD35. Brian might know. He's a SP guy too, I would assume, since he's in SP country. But what they would do is they would actually, when the 4449 was running excursions along the West Coast, in the really steep grade area, because it was such a long passenger train, they hooked a couple of diesels at the front of it to help it get up over the steep grades, and then they would cut off. So Bernard saying he tends to the dark side a lot. All right, let me get back to this camera so y'all can see me better. All right, so, and yeah, that's another thing. Like, I don't have like the perfect setup, and this is kind of all at the last minute. I put a poll out to my channel members, and I included all channel members because I only have like 7. The last time I checked. A sidetrack Wednesday, absolutely, Robert. But I wanted to know, what did they want to see on this upcoming Sidetrack Sunday? And I mentioned, working on these 2 modules. And the modules is basically for a demo layout that I plan on taking to train shows to demonstrate what all LCC can do with automation within, controlling turnouts and the automation of signaling, all within LCC, to where you don't have to have JMRI. So that's one of the new things that I plan on doing. All right, get a black tablecloth or get a diffuser over the light. I can do that. So, and Tim is saying that we get to watch the beard grow. Absolutely. It looks like I do need to adjust my camera a little bit, because I feel like I've got too much up here going on. Shortline 614, welcome, bud. All right, let's see. And it looks like, hey, we got Lynn McCurdy in here. How did I miss him? So, I mean, his channel name is one of the longest. Just imagine if he actually spelt out HDMMRC. Like, his channel name would not even be a mile long, but maybe like 10 miles long. So, but yeah. All right, so something really cool I'm going to get to show y'all. And I plan on bringing it back up on Sidetrack Sunday. For those who are subscribed to Cowcatcher Magazine, on page 23, there is a very, very, well, I don't know the word. My mind just went blank. But there's a picture that looks like I've seen this before. Check that out. Oh, that's kind of dark. There we go. Let me get it under the light. Yeah. So a picture that I submitted to Cowcatcher a few months ago actually made it in the magazine. I thought that was really, really cool. I know Robert Flying Crow got one in there before. And so that's actually my very first submission to actually get accepted. So probably after several. All right, so Brian is saying that he had, okay, so the SD45 was the other EMD daylight locomotive. I do have the Athearn SP SD40 version that came with the economy sound, and I did end up replacing that with Tsunami 2. Hey, Split Rock's here. What's going on, Split Rock? We got Dan's Model Railroading Journey saying Deja Vu. So yeah, and Split Rock is saying nice photo, so thank you. Let's see. Did anyone else pop in that I missed? Okay. So like I said, this is just all I'm just trying to test. I'm just trying to test this setup to see if this is going to be something that I like, because I've got me a tablet to switch through all my scenes and whatnot. And so, you know, for those who want to throw up super chats and super stickers, I can even hit that as well because I just tested it earlier. So yeah, this is kind of a new thing for me, and this is what I'm wanting to do for Sunday's live stream. But it looks like I do need to work on some of the lighting issues because I am right under a light. So for those who are coming in later, we did test, maybe try the layout lights, not the room lights, and it's a little too dark. So, hey, Grandpa Rails is here. What's going on, JD? All right, so Lynn is saying that he sees me on Dispatch with Roy Smith. When was I on Dispatch with? Unless you're talking about, you know, my pictures that I upload to his Facebook group. I do see some of yours in there too, Lynn. So try a sheet over the light. I could do that. Maybe like a white t-shirt. That would work too. Because it is pretty bright. Like if I look up at it and then look back at the camera, I can't even see the camera. That my face is just like, or my eyes is like cloudy. So yeah, I can see where it's real bright. Like if I step away, I don't know if that makes it any better. That's a good one. I bet you're so bright your mother calls you son. That's a good one. Yeah, Norman, I agree with you. I think it does need a little diffusing for sure. So, all right. So I'm going to hit a couple of buttons here. You're probably not going to be able to hear me talk. Just let me know if you hear some music and whatnot. These are just, like I said, some things that I'm wanting to test. So I'm going to start with the intermission, and then I'm going to go to the end, but I'll actually pop back up. Okay, so it looks like y'all heard some music, so that's good. All right, so the only downside about this is I don't have nowhere to sit. So I might have to look at maybe trying to bring a bar stool or something in here. So that way I've got a place to sit down. That would be nice. So, okay, so Lynn is saying that the sound went way up. Are you saying that on just the intermission or the outro? Because I got to fix the outro. The intermission, I can adjust the audio levels, but the outro, I'm going to fix that because I'm actually, I recorded a video or edited the video today of thanking all of my channel members, Patreon members, and those who have done super chats. The past 2 streams, because my last stream I forgot to recognize people, so I'm doing the last 2 streams, and I'm going to play that kind of in the middle of the live stream at one point. So all right, so so Lynn is saying after the drum beat, so that would be the outro. So I will work on adjusting volume levels on that, because I can do that. That's not too hard to do. So yeah. All right, so it is 9:45, and let's see. It says I've been live for 20 minutes. How about that? Oh yeah, I didn't show y'all. So let me go back here, because I was going to show you what I did work on. All right. So let me move this stuff out of the way and move my water out of the way, and I'll show you what I've done. I got to be gentle. Ugh. And I might have to adjust the camera so that way you can see it, but it's fine if you can't. Okay. Let's see what happens if I set it here. Ah, there we go. All right, so I basically clamped both pieces together, and these are actually wooden dowels. I took a 1/4 inch drill bit after clamping them together and popped in 4 holes, and I ended up gluing the dowels in one side, so that way when I put them together, and it's like a real snug fit, that way it's good, it's level, and whatchamacallit. Yeah, I did use 2x4, and the reason why I used 2x4 is because that's what I had on hand, and I did not feel like ripping it down to 1x4s. So trying to save some money. So that's the only reason why I used 2x4s on that. I am going to put some legs on it. I wanted something sturdy because, like I said, this is going to be traveling to train shows and whatnot. So I need something a little sturdy. I'm going to have to find a way to make like a protective casing for it, so that way things like the signals and whatnot doesn't get damaged. But yeah, and I do plan on putting masonite around the bottom of it, so you're not going to see the plywood. Yes, Norman, wood dowel connectors. Like I said, 1/4 inch is what I ended up using on that. So quarter inch is fairly easy to do. So yeah, that's the only thing that I have done since the last live stream with the painting and whatnot. You know, I haven't had a chance to really work on the layout, except for I got Juicy J's completely built. I could show y'all that. So let me go back to that other camera and turn the layout light on and see if we can't see it. All right. Y'all get to see the mess. Oop. And y'all get to get dizzy. There it is. So we got Juicy J's all the way over there, and you can only see part of it. How about that? So ain't that fun? So I'm going to grab it so that way you can actually see the full dimensions of it. And I know me getting away from the microphone, I might not be as loud. All right, so this building is actually going to be relocated. Where? I don't know. That is to be determined. All right. just so that way y'all can see the full blueprint. I'm going to bring it down there. I'll re-angle the camera. Because, I mean, this thing is massive. All right. Whoops. I'm going to get a little seasick. All right, there we go. There is Juicy J's. All right, so you can fit two 40-foot cars. Yeah, two 40-footers in here. Can go on the inside here, fit another two 40-footers. So like reefer cars, whatnot. I got the roof on as well. What's really cool is this little piece right here. There is in the ceiling, there's a hole, and it fits the just plug lighting perfectly. So that's that wire hanging for that. And then I did put in another light for the security offices. And my GoPro is making weird noises. So I don't know what that's about. It probably just changed its dimensions. All right, I'm going to go put this back up before I make a mess. There we go. All right, let's see what people are saying. Hey, Rusty. Yeah, it is humongous. That is no joke. No joke at all. All right, let's see what my GoPro decided to do. Huh, it didn't do anything. How about that? So that building's blueprint it's 30 inches by 15 inches. So it's pretty big. Robert, no, it is not a kit. So they are laser cut modules by ITLA, which is a Canadian company. It's that laser art is what ITLA stands for. Late Night Model Railroad, Joey is the one. He's using the exact same thing for his layout as well, for his little small switching layout. And I fell in love with it for the simple fact that you can customize it and make it exactly what you want. So that's why I went that route. Split Rock, yes, right now you are viewing me on the GoPro, but like I said, that light's just right up there. So the other video that I'm moving around is I've got another one. It's an AV POS. It's one of these. This one's actually going to get mounted up over there. So that way we'll have two PTZ cameras covering the whole top of the layout. Split Rock, yes, I am using OBS to StreamYard. And I'm controlling my OBS with my iPad. So that's how I'm able to do what I'm doing. And I just got everything finished set up tonight. So that's why I'm doing a test. All right. So Rusty's been track landing. Just pulled a pork shoulder out of the smoker. I am jealous. Man, I love pork, man. Barbecue, you can't go wrong with that. Cool. Can we see the building on your laptop over and over? So yeah, Split Rock, I literally just figured it out, and I'm doing it in a method that Rick Bailey and Heath does not use. I'm using a touch portal. I watched about 15 YouTube videos on getting it set up, and I've got it set up where I'm happy with it for the most part. There is a couple of things I'm not so happy with. But I also wanted it to where I can control my ATEM Mini, which is, basically I've got 4 or I can have up to 4 HDMI cameras, my GoPro being one, and 2 of these right now, to where I can switch between cameras. And it has one, like a webcam out feed, and I can control that from my iPad as well. So Randall Ellison, barbecue, yum, exactly. And see, Randall's lucky because he's always in Memphis, so he gets that good Memphis barbecue. So, all right, let's see here. All right, so I'm actually using my newer NW8000. It's a USB mic. I'm planning on getting me a wireless lapel, so I actually moved my mic from the computer over here in front of me. So it's the same mic I've always been using. It's, from my understanding, I mean, it picks up pretty well. The last live stream, I was over here, but my microphone was over there, and you can kind of tell it was a little distant. Like when I got up closer to the microphone, I did sound a lot better. So, but I mean, it does pick up quite a bit. And Heath was the one who actually said, hey, buy this. And so I bought what he told me to buy. So, and that's back when I was doing the live streams over in the kill room. So yeah, Lynn has got that Rock Island logo behind his name because Lynn is a channel member. So for those who pledge, I think it's like 99 cents or $1, I can't remember like that, will automatically get a logo behind your name, and depending on how many months you have been a channel member will depend on which logo you have on the back end of your name. So the logos I put on there was my Train Freak logo, so that's going to be the first one. Then you got the Ashley Drew Northern logo, you got the Rock Island logo, the Southern Pacific logo, and last but not least, if you're there for a member for a whole year, I think it's a year, you get the Cotton Belt logo. So, and Split Rock is saying, yes, Heath is very good at spending other people's money, and he's absolutely right because I've gone broke since. I ended up buying my GoPro because of Heath. I ended up buying my microphone because of Heath. I ended up buying an app today because of Heath. So, and that's so that way I can control my A10 Mini, because the only app that's designed for it, the cheapest one's like $10. And I'm like, well, it's only $10. So, all right. So Split Rock is saying he needs a mic for the iPhone. Tops Barbecue in Marion. I have not had Tops Barbecue in Marion. Really good pulled pork sandwiches. There's one up from the hotel where I dropped the cruise off that I still want to try yet. Okay, so Norman, that is a very, very good question. Did the Southern Pacific pull the Rock Island passenger cars? There was one passenger train. It was called the Golden State. And it went from Chicago to LA. And the Rock Island would pull it from Chicago. And I want to say it's close to El Paso, Texas, where the Rock Island locomotives would drop off. The Southern Pacific locomotives would connect and then pull it into LA, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, the Golden State. So, and the Southern Pacific actually had a special paint scheme for their E units that pulled that passenger train. Okay, so Tucumcari, New Mexico, which is just on the New Mexico side of Texas. So I was close. Yes, Brian, I do not have the experimental. I have the newer Daylight one. I would be glad to pull it out, but I do not know exactly which tote. It's in one of these totes over here. So I do have that one. The only Heritage Unit SP locomotives that I do not own is the Olympic one and well, they called it Desert Storm, but it was totally accidental how that one happened. And it was basically a bad paint job, and the primer started falling off. And it was about It was right after that Union Pacific did their Desert Storm locomotive, and so they dubbed that SP1 the Desert Storm locomotive as well. But it was never intentionally supposed to be the Desert Storm. Those are the only two, to my knowledge, that I do not have. And of course, like I said, I don't have the experimental, which was the exact same road number. They painted it as the experimental first, and then they repainted it later to a daylight. And I do not have the other daylight. I do have both bicentennials. I've got Bowser made the U25B SP 6800. And Athern Genesis did make the Jeep 40P as well. I can't remember the number off the top of my head on that one. But I do have those two. I also got the Cotton Belt Bicentennial, which has the SP logo on the nose of it, 9389. That's a SD45T-2. And, of course, the bay window caboose to go with it. Okay, so Norman is saying that the reason he has his eyes on some Rock Island passenger cars and wants a proper locomotive. Thanks for answering my question. So, yes, Norman, E-units. There is a Rock Island. No one's made it. Actually, I do have a customer locomotive right here. That was an empty box, so I'm not too worried about that. But I do have a customer's locomotive that brought me a Rock Island locomotive that I'm going to share with you. I just got to be gentle not to break any of this stuff, because this stuff here is not mine. All right, there we go. So this would be a proper locomotive. And that one is number 652. That is a E9. And at one time, 652 had the bicentennial paint scheme where it had a blue nose with a white star on it, and it said Independence in red along the side of it. I do know one guy that does have that locomotive, but he actually had to have it repainted. He had an SP. He actually bought my old SP Proto 2000 E8 unit. I sold it to him. I said, I'm just not going to use it. And he sent it off. Someone repainted it as the Rock Island Independence, and they did a really good job on it. So, all right. So, Shortline is in the process of putting DCC and sound in his bicentennial. That he just put DCC in the SSW, which would be Cotton Belt SD45T2. He's talking about the 9389. And I did a video on that short line with the where I put Tsunami 2 in it. Actually, it was two videos. One is the installation of it, and then the other video is the programming of it. And that's back when I first started my channel. So the recording quality and editing is not that great. So just be forewarned. Okay, so yes, the Cotton Belt did have two Alco PAs. They never ran together. Alco PAs number 300 and 301. I have both. One was northbound, the other was southbound, and then they also had the EMD FP7. So they're at the end of the Cotton Belt's passenger era. They had three locomotives that basically ran the Morning Star train, which was an overnighter. So two of those were assigned to the overnights, one going north, one going south, between Pine Bluff, Arkansas, my hometown, and St. Louis, or East St. Louis, Illinois. And then the third unit would actually be assigned to the Pine Bluff to Memphis local. So they made all three of those towards the end, double duty passenger and freight. So you can find some pictures online where you see that one of the Alco PAs is actually pulling some freight. So, yep. And Split Rock, you were exactly correct on that Golden State paint scheme. Now, the Rock Island and the SP wasn't the only dual train. There was I think it's the Overland that was the SP, the UP, and the Chicago Northwestern. But yeah. Yes, Shortline, you are right. So in 1960, when they did go out, that is the first time that both units did run together. SP used it on a mail train for the most part, but every once in a while, after they were repainted to Bloody Nose, they would be on the Coast Daylight. So, but Cotton Belt never ran those together. Now, also the SP, if I'm not mistaken, when the UP Rock Island merger failed because UP no longer wanted the rock, the SP ended up buying a lot of it. Basically, the route, the Golden State route, for example, ended up becoming part of the Cotton Belt. That was never the original Cotton Belt. Cotton Belt was literally from Tyler, Texas to East St. Louis, Illinois. They did have a few branch lines off of that as well, but that whole new route, going through Kansas over to New Mexico, I don't think it was straight from Chicago. I think it was from Des Moines. There was another subsidiary of SPs that went from Des Moines to Chicago. Memphis Barbecue Company. Okay, I'll have to check that out. All right, so Norman says, in fact, they actually called the Golden State a stillborn passenger train. It was canceled during its construction. So St. Louis to Tucumcari was the Cotton Rock. Okay. And that would make sense. They might have called it the Cotton Rock route. Now, the Cotton Belt also did have trackage rights on the Rock Island's Choctaw route from Brinkley to Memphis. So when Union Pacific acquired the SP in 96, sometime in 97, they started pulling up track for the Rock Island's Choctaw route from Little Rock to Memphis. But they left it from Brinkley to Memphis because the SP actually fixed a lot of that trackage because, the Rock Island's track was not in the best condition. So, never heard of the Imperial. Yes. So there you go. SP bought the former Rock Island with the Cotton Belt's paperwork. Absolutely. And that's mainly for taxes. When you think about it, even though SP, it's big SP holding here, but they also own the Cotton Belt. If they were all under one name, they would actually have to pay more taxes. So a lot of times you'll see railroads own subsidiaries to keep that paperwork separate to keep the taxes lower. One way to beat the system. So, all right. So that train there, the passenger train that went from Memphis to Dallas was known as the Lone Star. And then the passenger train that went from St. Louis to Dallas was known as the Morning Star. And the Morning Star was the last passenger train, train number 7 and number 8, depending on which direction. However, the Cotton Belt did at that time in the late 50s and into the 60s run like a single Bradley Osgood chair car on the back of their local freights. So if you were riding passenger along the Cotton Belt, you got stuck on the back end of a local. So that probably wasn't near as fun. And not all the locals ran at the same time. So if you needed to get, say, from what I'm modeling, like Pine Bluff up to Jonesboro, which Randall Ellison knows Jonesboro very well, because that's where his railroad, the Frisco, which is now BNSF, that's where they interchanged. You would have to ride a local from Pine Bluff up to Brinkley, where the Rock Island interchange, and then ride another local from Brinkley up to Jonesboro. So, yep, Tim is saying like the AGS, CNOTP, and etc. under the Southern and then Norfolk Southern. Yeah, I mean, a lot of buyouts. I mean, how many railroads did CNW own before, they got bought out by, UP? When you look at SP, they had that merger with the DRGW. Then, of course, the Cotton Belt. And then all of that became part of, UP. Look at the MOP. MOPAC bought out the St. Louis Iron and Mountain. St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern Railway, which was a MOP line that ran through Arkansas. There's actually a really neat book on that. We got it in the library today because for the genealogy area, because the book was like a color pictorial of all of the depots that the MOPAC had or the St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern had in Arkansas. It's really, really neat book. Oh, Daryl's going to make me test it out. Let's see if it works. All right, Daryl. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, man. That is awesome. So, hey, Gary, evening. And no, you're not late. I'm just here shooting the breeze with anyone that wants to shoot the breeze. I kind of wish I had a breeze right now because it's getting a little warm in here. So Rock Island had one set of equipment for the Golden Rocket, and SP bailed on that train. And I do not blame SP bailing on that. So that was also kind of like Rock Island had the Aero train too, which looked really cool, but it really wasn't a great design. It actually kind of flopped, from my understanding. But yeah. All right, so I mean, other than that, I really ain't got nothing else to do. I mean, it's 10:15 my time, so. But I don't know. What do y'all think about this setup here? I know it's kind of messy back that way, and that's because, a layout under construction should be messy, right? I can try to clean some of that up there. Down here, I'm not going to. But as far as, working on the modules, and so for those who are coming in a little later, and I'm Norman, I know I got to put some type of cloth over this. Oh, let me fix the camera because I showed y'all Juicy J's earlier. All right, there we go. So mainly I can show you what I'm working on down here. So, and there goes my GoPro beeping at me again. Stop it. But yeah, this is not part of the job, so I'm going to slide that out of the way. But basically, what I'm going to end up doing is this is going to be a demo layout for train shows, just demonstrating what all LCC can do. It's basically going to be set up with, some flex track like that and a siding. I've got some number 6 turnouts. We move this building again. I'm going to find you a new home. Where, I don't know. But I am going to find you a new home. Stay. Okay, coming back here. Turnout there. Turnout here. I've got bumpers so that way they don't fly off the edge. And to join the two modules together, I'm going to have re-rollers in the middle. And I've decided the locomotive I'm going to use, and I'll come up here and show you in the camera. It's going to be this Alco RS3. Oop, there we go. Yep, Alco RS3 in the Cotton Belts Black Widow variant, which is different than the SP's Black Widow variant. And that's going to be my locomotive that's going to be going forwards and backwards to demonstrate on DC. And I will probably grab my Rock Island Alco RS1 to demonstrate a locomotive with sound. Or maybe the FP7. So I wanted to kind of keep it short, like a 4-axle locomotive. I could probably do a switcher. Right now I don't have any switchers with sound, except for one Alco S3, but it's got that MRC Prodigy sound in it. So definitely don't want to do that. Do Wednesday nights work well for a show? I'm just testing tonight. Generally, no, it does not work very well. The only way it would work well is while my wife and son are at church, because he's actually got occupational therapy, and as soon as they get out of occupational therapy, they go straight to church. They don't even come home. That would work well, but then I would be competing against Sparky and TSG John. I don't want to do that. So, is the GoPro remote controlled movement? No, it's the camera up in the corner. So I've got my remote down here. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. So it's one of these, Split Rock. One of these. So my AVI POS camera. That's the one that is remote. So if I wanted to, I could show you part of the layout. So now you're overlooking the town of Wiener. Check out that big donut. Yes, I do plan on having some cops sitting there eating a donut. And then you got over on this side, Hickory Ridge. And there's Juicy J's, which actually I'm going to rename it. It's not going to be Juicy J's anymore. After doing a lot of research, I've decided it's going to get renamed. So it's still going to be it's going to be named after a prototypical company. However, that industry is going to be completely freelanced. So, yes. So all I am demonstrating at the shows is signal and LCC. I bought me a Motorman, another one of those that Heath was like, hey, you should buy this. And so, whoa, that is trippy. That is my GoPro doing that. What the heck? That is nuts. Okay, so now, I bet you my GoPro overheated. Oh yeah, it's pretty warm. Oh, that's not cool. Let's see what's going on here. Take that off and all right, I got regular. Wow, it's trying to record. That's weird. Stop recording. That's really weird. Okay. Now that I plugged my GoPro back in, I'm gonna have to. It might not do right. I don't know yet. All right, let's try it again. Anybody want to put hashtag blame Heath in the chat? I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, of course. I figured it would do that. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to have to go to this other camera. I don't know. It's just wanting to do some trippy stuff. So what I'll do is we'll angle it this way and let you see the whole rest of the room. Oh, that's a trippy look. I mean, check it out. You can see me and see me again and see me again and see me again. So I'm not going to do that to you. All right, so we'll just talk based on that. I'll have to fix. I'm I'm going to have to fix that GoPro. It like it wanted to try to record or something. That was weird. As soon as I unplugged the video feed to it, then it came back on the screen. It was like recording. It was like 5 minutes in. So that's weird. So yes, Split Rock. This is an AVI PAS or AVI PAS, and the model is AV-1081W. So here, I'll type it in for you. And like I said, I've got 2 of these. So AV. All right, there you go. Oh, I do have a GE 70 toner. So I do have one, and it's an undecorated. It's got DCC, but no sound. So all right, so did the cotton belt have lower quadrant semaphores like the SP used to have all over their system? I'm assuming the semaphore signals is what you're talking about. They did have semaphore signals located at their stations to determine if a passenger train, like a local that's carrying passenger, or if it's like the Morning Star, if there would be what's called a flag stop. Typically, it would be stopping at a station that's not a scheduled stop. The semaphore flag would be down to indicate, hey, to the engineer, you're picking someone up or dropping someone off. So, all right, Shortline 614, have a good night, bud. And thank you. And hopefully this Sunday, for Sidetrack Sunday, we'll start working on this with laying down cork and putting track in. So, yeah, the Bachmann 70 tonner locos need a new drive motor. You're absolutely right. So, Tim is saying he's got a Conrail unit that he considered getting, but it's DCC ready for $30 more than he paid for his DCC one. And those are a pain to get the shell off. So, all right, so Lynn is saying that's what I was messaging you about earlier. You can see you over and over and over and over and over. And yeah, until I'm like a little bitty speck. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, I do got some switchers. I do have a Kato NW2 that I plan on repainting in the Cotton Belt paint scheme. It was Cotton Belt's first paint scheme, which was what they called the Confederate Yellow and Confederate Gray and Epaulet Yellow. It kind of looks like a Union Pacific locomotive, but like vice versa. Probably more comparable to a Louisville and Nashville with the colors. Mainly gray locomotive. It had red pinstriping and yellow accents, where UP is like yellow locomotive, red pinstriping, and gray accents. All right, Daryl, you have a good one, bud, and thank you again for that super chat, man. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, we got Voodoo John in the house, Mystic Southern Railway. What's going on, buddy? And Lynn is saying that he is going to miss out on Sunday night. Well, Lynn, one of the things that you can do is just go back and recheck watch the replay. It might keep you entertained. I've got to figure out I probably need a guest host on here to kind of help me keep an eye on chat, especially while I'm working, because it is tough to work on things and keep an eye on chat at the same time. So, Iron Mule 2004 said he finally made it. So welcome, Iron Mule. But yeah, I'm probably going to have a co-host if I'm doing something hands-on, because it's going to be tough for me to see what I'm doing, making sure that my track is nice and straight, no kinks in it, getting measurements, cuts, filing down, burrs and stuff on my cuts and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that I will have a co-host. Not sure who that's going to be yet. And none of my STS cohorts have jumped in because, well, they're all Eastern time. So for them, it's 30 minutes till the next day. So, but me, I'm a night owl. Always been a night owl. And I look at kind of, having some fun. So, all right. So I think you're talking about train order semaphores at the depot, a little different from block signal semaphores along the road right away. So, Brian, what I do know is as far as block signals, Cotton Belt had all searchlights. Cotton Belt was one of the first Class 1 railroads to go full CTC. And it blew my mind because I was thinking they might have went CTC like in the 60s. And they actually went CTC back in the 40s. So, all right. So the AD&N co-host. I do have some bad news about Steven. If y'all want to, for y'all that are the religious type, I'm not asking, put him in your prayers. He recently had a diabetic infection in his leg, and I do have permission to say this. And he had to have one of his legs amputated and a couple of toes off his other foot amputated. He worked for the railroad for 22 years. He grew up on the Ashley Durham Northern as a kid when his dad ran the railroad. But he is now being forced into early retirement. Unfortunately, and he is right now in the hospital recovering. I found out last week about it. And I talked to him earlier today. He's in good spirits. He hasn't got his prosthetic yet, but he is starting his rehab on trying to get used to walking on one foot that's only got 3 toes. So, and I do plan on trying to go see him when I get the chance. So I'm sure me getting him back on in person is probably not going to be as much as an ordeal as in the past because now he doesn't work for the railroad anymore. So, like I said, for those who are the praying type, just keep him in your thoughts and your prayers because right now he's going through a rough patch in his life. It's just a rough chapter. So, I mean, the good thing about it is when he had the diabetic infection attack and it caused him to pass out, a couple of his roommates found him in his vehicle. So it could have been worse. We could have lost him. So it's, he's in good spirits of the simple fact that he's still living on this earth. So just like I said, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he's in the process of his recovery. So, on a different note about the Ashley Durham Northern, I did pick up a book the other day. It's called Forced Rails. That is all about Georgia Pacific, or all their different railroads that they owned. Ashley Durham Northern being one. Chattahoochee was another one that they owned, and they owned several. I know they owned one up in Oregon. I mean, all over the U.S. But it's a book that was written by Russell Tedder. And Russell Tedder was actually Steven's dad's boss. So Russell Tedder was the president and CEO of the Ashley Durham Northern, and Steven's dad, Mr. Schuth, was the vice president. So Russell, he was a paper pusher or the pen pusher, whatever you call it. And but Steven's dad was the one who actually got to run the railroad until its demise in '96. But Russell Tedder, wrote a book and it got published before his death on the Georgia Pacific railroad companies, and it's a really neat book. I ended up picking it up last week, and I've started on it, mainly just researching the Ashley Durham Northern and Fordyce and Princeton parts of it, and of course the ALM. And some of Stephen's pictures are actually in that book, which I thought was really cool. So Iron Mule, I hate to hear that. We'll be praying for him. He's from Crosset. So Stephen grew up in Crosset. He's not originally from there. His dad, when his dad came to the Ashley Durham Northern, he originally came from the Illinois Central, if I'm not mistaken. It was the IC. Russell Tedder came from the Sabine River and Eastern. I think that's it, SRE. So, oh, Nancy, I did not know that. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. So please all send some love to Jack Jack too. His brother passed away yesterday, and Jack Jack's in a state of shock and needs the love and support. I will text Jack Jack here in a little while and let him know that I'm thinking about him and that I'll be praying for him. So, Nancy, thanks for sharing that. So Iron Mule says, I want that book, but it's too high. Yeah, I paid $80 for that book, and I will tell you, it's very thick. It's like, well, I've got a book here. This ain't the book. It's inside the house. But like this book here, it's let's see if I can get it. A Cotton Belt Locomotives book. And you can see, roughly how thick that book is. The Forest Rails book is thicker than this. So it's definitely well worth it. And it does in the back have an engine roster of every single railroad that Georgia Pacific owned. So for those who are modeling any of those short line railroads, I highly recommend getting that book. So Sabine River and Northern, that's it, SRN. There you go. All right. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get in touch with Jack Jack. Send him some love that way. I've got his cell phone number, so I'll text him. Let's see here. All right, so Brian says, wow, nice. Never knew about the Cotton Belt signals. Thanks for sharing. No, absolutely, Brian. So Cotton Belts, like I said, they were one of the first railroads that went full CTC along their whole route back in the transition era. And their dispatcher's office was in Pine Bluff. And the Arkansas Railroad Museum, which is the old machine shops of the Cotton Belt, actually has the original dispatcher's console. They had 3 dispatchers for the whole route. So I did a lot, Brian, I don't know if you caught my live stream when I did the Arkansas Railroad Museum tour. I did a video snippet of it as well where I kind of, cut some of the stuff out or edit it down quite a bit. But I did show off the dispatchers panel, which is really cool. So, all right, it is 10:35, and I have been on here an hour. How about that? So I'm probably going to go ahead and cut on out. And because of Daryl's super chat, I am going to have to add that to the video that I created that I did not put in here. Oh, so we got Voodoo John saying in Louisiana, we pronounce it Sabine River. Sabine, okay. Kind of like how y'all pronounce New Orleans, Nolans. So Sabine River. All right. Well, that's not how Stephen pronounced it. He told me Sabine, but Sabine. Okay, Sabine. Got it. I do have one of their boxcars, by the way. So, but like I said, it's all put up. I've got 5 totes of stuff here. I've got another 4 totes over there. And another 2 totes over here. So, ask me if I have enough trains. I would tell you no. I do not have enough. One thing about this demo layout. You know, it'd be really cool if I did make this thing 8 feet long, which I didn't. I probably could have ran the U50 on it. That would have been really cool. Yeah, and I know that river runs up into Texas. I think it's over in Longview, if I'm not mistaken. And they might pronounce it, you know. Well, I mean, you go like people in Kansas do not pronounce the Arkansas River in Kansas. They pronounce it the Arkansas River. So, but yet we're the state that don't know how to pronunciate things correctly anyway. So Tim says he's got it all to almost fit in 4 boxes for me. Like I said, 5. Oh, I miscounted. I got another 5 totes. So there's 10 totes plus 2. So 12 totes. And that's not including all the stuff that's on top of the layout. So, yeah. But anyways. All right. Well, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I am going to go ahead and do the end screen on here just to make sure that it works. Because I just want to make sure that it works. And, of course, it will not be the end screen for this Sunday show. So I appreciate y'all being on here, chatting with me. Let me know that things are working the way they're supposed to be, minus my GoPro wanting to try to record in the middle of a stream. It's probably because I got my battery in there too, and that will cause it to overheat. Yeah, Split Rock, I could do the U50 on that. However, I got to rewire it because Athern made the headlight above the cab and the nose light the same lighting output when the headlight above the cab should be a more strobe. So, no, they're totes. They're not the official blue totes. However, some of the totes have blue lids. So, I don't know if that counts. But yeah. All right. Well, y'all take care. Be safe out there. And I hope to see you on Sidetrack Sunday this week, 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. So 8 o'clock p.m. that is. Be safe out there. Have a great one. Happy railroading.